just went the first 75, yep.
Yeah, is there any way that there's another pair of papers?
That last part, penalty of law.
Gotcha. Have you seen in the industry over the last 10, 15, 20 years?
Here in Atlanta? Well, I mean, obviously the most extraordinary thing is the explosion of work. Thank goodness. You know, we want Atlanta to become a media center, a film center, television production center, so that we can put all these great people to work. We have an amazing state where we have so many different looks. Now we're getting the production facilities we need. So fundamentally, what I think we need right now is to build up our production capacity with the talent base, so that we don't just have studios, but we have the talent, so Hollywood films and television productions out of New York and LA don't have to do it there. They've got the talent here. That's the most important thing for us to do, and that's great fun. That's putting people to work.
What is the biggest challenge for women that you see right now in the Georgia industry?
Well, I don't think we're any different than challenge for women anywhere. You know, there is no secret that particularly in the production part of this industry, it's always a challenge for women. I mean, if you want to be a cinematographer or you want to be a grip, it is hard labor. If you want to go into costuming, that's a little bit easier by trade, but it's still hard. So I think it is have the passion. Know it's going to take you a long time to get there, particularly if you have to join a union. That's always very difficult, but it's well worth it. You've just got to learn your trade. By hook or crook, learn your trade, and know there's always going to be someone trying to push you down. Could be another man, it could be another woman, but you've got to just keep fighting back, and you've got to look to your female friends for that support up.
What experience have you had with WIFTA specifically? Kind of things that you may remember that organization has done to help uplift women?
Yeah, you know, I have not had as much experience with the organization here in Atlanta, but when I'm from Los Angeles, and that's sort of the heart and soul of this organization. It began there, it became huge there, and this was really a very small group of women who started this organization. And it was for the very best of reasons, and the ones that still apply today, which is women have to give women a hand. And if we don't do it, no one else is going to do it, and certainly the men aren't going to do it. So we need to be able to do that, and that's what this organization is all about educating and also women giving women a hand.
And final question, the public broadcasting sector, where do you see the future of that with you sitting at the helm?
Well, I hope a very healthy future, right? We all want a healthy future for that. You know, we're doing great. We're doing fantastically well. And one of the great things about Georgia Public Broadcasting is that we're offering a lot of work to a lot of folks that work in the trades here. Because we do a lot of our own documentary filmmaking with freelancers. We use a lot of outside photographers. We have a lot of studio work that we do. So anything from video shaders to camera to editing to lighting, we put those people to work. And you know, my hope is that I can keep growing Georgia Public Broadcasting, so I keep putting great talented people here in Atlanta to work. That's the goal.
And final thing, do you wish WIFTA a happy 40th?
Oh, WIFTA, I wish you a happy 40th from myself and from Georgia Public Broadcasting, and 40 more.
So I'm Christy Lenz, and I'm helping with the event tonight. I'm a journalist in the Atlanta area, and I think it's wonderful that WIFTA's been around for 40 years, supporting women in film and television and all of their endeavors. So cheers, and here's to another 40 years.
Cheers.
To Wendy's Candice, and I work with the Women in Film of Television, the social media, and the special events committee. So I'm here helping out. So this is one of the largest organizations next to Los Angeles. So it's a privilege to be a part of it, to be a member of it.
What year was it when you got started in this industry?
Only job I've ever done. Fell into it, doing documentary films in the 80s. And I realized that I was able to pull performances out of people that were not trained as actors. And then that just led to me really being interested. First got hired to cast children with Disney. And children are a lot like untrained souls, you know, they just are very organic and wonderful, and they have no bad habits and all great tricks. And so from there, I just totally fell in love with my job, and I never looked back.
Was there any hesitation jumping into the industry as a woman back when you started?
No, and I'll tell you why. I was the only girl in my entire generation, and my father raised me to believe that not only am I as good as men, but most likely better. So I just, for dumb luck, never knew to be frightened or feel like in any way that, you know, I would not succeed. Catherine Bigelow, the director of Hurt Locker, said it best. She said, if there's any resistance to my making movies, I have two things to say. Number one, I can't change my gender. And number two, I will never not make movies. And I sort of go by that same credo.
That is profound. What do you think is the most impactful thing that an organization like Women in Film, whether it's an Atlanta chapter or other, what's the most impactful thing that you've seen Women in Film do?
Education. I think 100%. I think there are so many positions in film and television that women would be interested in that they just don't know about. I fell into casting. Growing up in South Carolina on a farm, I never knew what a casting director was. I saw it in credits, but even then, way back then in the dark ages, it was a department within the studio or the network. It wasn't an individual. Until Lynn Stallmaster, we were not individuals. So I think there's a lot to be said for education, for teaching women, you know, that they can be focus pullers, they can be camera women, they can be wardrobe department. There's just so much to be educated. And, you know, creative people are looking for that outlet. They really are. And it's a great way to make money. It's a wonderful job. It's hell on marriage. Not mine, thank God, but it usually is, because you travel a lot. You're a gypsy. You live out of a suitcase. So if that appeals to you, it's a wonderful way to make a living.
How does a woman looking to be a success to make her living, how does she get that education?
I think I would first start on the internet, which thank God that's around right now, and just read about what each of these departments do in film. And then if you find something you're really interested in, call someone who's in a department and offer to do a free internship, even if it's a few hours a week. I can't tell you how many casting directors and casting associates have come out of our internship program at Fincan & Associates. Two of our three casting associates right now are past interns, and we've had a history of doing that. So internships, I can't tell you how much that means.
And what about WIFTA? What does WIFTA or Women in Film mean to you as a woman in the industry?
You know, I think it's affirming, certainly, and I think that as a group and as a voice that is a group and a large group, that you're going to get more recognition, more things done, people will take notice. You can, you know, make people understand that women and minorities are not represented properly in terms of scale of actors and how many actors are within each television show, and more that kind of thing is done, because as a group, as a large voice, you know, people have to listen. So I would just think, you know, the numbers, just grow your membership, and, you know, with that, you know, you'll gain incredible strength.
One more thing. You know this is WIFTA's 40th anniversary.
Yes.
And we would love it if you would wish us a happy birthday, happy anniversary.
You got it. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, WIFTA. Rock on.
You're out somewhere on a hill in Arizona, in the middle of nowhere. There's the what are some of the things that you're most proud of accomplishing?
I think that the first thing that I feel really good about is the fact that we produced a documentary last year. Typically, Women in Film produces a PSA every year, and last year we got to do something a little bit more. We got to be in a position where we could hire more crew, we could shoot for longer days. You know, usually it's just one day. We shot over an extended period of time. People learned to conduct interviews and edit, and it was just really an exciting time, and we did it for a worthwhile cause. 9 to 5. They're the organization actually behind the movie 9 to 5, and it's about women working women, working 9 to 5, and what that looks like, and how we have to fight for people to, women to get equal pay and so forth. So that is one of the major things that I'm proud of. This year, actually, I was actually happy to get internship opportunities available for our members. One of the intern opportunities was to be able to develop creatively television shows, and I was so excited that a production company here in Atlanta offered our members the opportunity to be a part of their company and say, have a say in what they were getting ready to pitch and what they were getting ready to produce. And I just think that that's important, because we need more original content out of Atlanta, and this was a great opportunity for them. I do like some of the programs that we've offered. The one actually that's coming up next week is one that's really near and dear to my heart, because I just feel like it's a model that a lot of people don't really understand. And that's how you get syndication deals. First run syndication, second run syndication. How did Oprah do it before her show actually became on the air? How did she make millions in syndication? And I just think that we need to understand that model and know that that is a viable option and very lucrative. WIFTA is important because it's for women, and it's meant to help women realize their dreams. You'll see later on in my speech how I talk about my career, how it was a bit misguided because I didn't really know what my passion was. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just really feel like if I had been a part of Women in Film in the past, there would have been people there, mentors, to help me navigate my career and help bring out my passion for the entertainment industry.
If you could put it in 3 quick snippets, what's the future for WIFTA?
The future for WIFTA is we have to stay current with the times, and we have to figure out how more women are going to get in significant roles in the entertainment industry. Producers, directors, cinematographers, editors, even crew members. Our numbers were not progressing. We're actually basically in a worse position than we were 16 years ago. So we have to really come together as an organization, as a community, and figure out how women can really excel in the entertainment industry. And that's what our job is for the next 40 years and to make it happen.
And finally, you know very well, this is WIFTA's 40th anniversary.
Yes.
I'd love it if you wished WIFTA happy 40th anniversary.
Happy 40th anniversary, WIFTA!
To welcome you to Women in Film and Television's 40th anniversary celebration. It's been another decade. We love it. It's been great. My name is Karen Cisse.
My name is Tammy Jones-Tanaka, and we're here to celebrate the accomplishments of WIFTA, past, present, and future. Karen and I actually represent two sides of the coin. She's been with WIFTA for quite a while, and I'm a newcomer to Atlanta. I recently became social media director and co-chair of this event, thanks to Karen. And we're here to let everyone know about what a great organization it is for those who have been in Atlanta for some time and those who are just arriving.
Now see, my journey with WIFTA started back in the 90s. My good friend Leanne just flew in from New York. We used to hang out and wait tables together way back in the day, and she started working with Women in Film and Television, and I did audiovisual at hotels and things like that, set up. And so I started off doing setup for the programs and workshops and stuff like that. And I just thought it was such an amazing organization. I graduated from Spelman, so I was all into women power and women doing things. And I ended up being programs director. I even helped out. We had Mimi and Samantha here. We worked on the 25th gala together, so that's what we were doing. But it was really amazing, and I served on the board from 1998 to 2001, and I met so many women who are not just colleagues, but have been long-term friends. And I think we'll hear more of that theme this evening about how, you know, people want to know, is WIFTA still relevant? And we have a different type of way. You know, women, we socialize a little bit differently than men do. And we got to chat, we got to talk, and this has been a great organization to do that with people with similar goals. That's fabulous. So we're going to go straight to our first speaker.
And I will introduce our first speaker for this evening. Thank you very much. Taya Ryan. First, to tell you a little bit about this Ryan. Taya Ryan is a 30-year broadcast media veteran whose passion for storytelling, curiosity for the world around her, and innovative ideas have earned her leadership roles at venerable broadcast operations, including PBS, CNN, and TBS. With a career that includes broadcast management, production, and content creation, Ms. Ryan brings a wealth of experience to her role as President and Executive Director of GPB Media. Ms. Ryan formerly served as Executive Vice President and General Manager of CNN US, where she was in charge of all network programming, daily editorial, breaking news, and on-air graphic and new program development. Ms. Ryan has also generated a series of television firsts, including Talk Back Live, the first daily live talk show to incorporate interaction via the internet. While working jointly for CNN and TBS, Ms. Ryan served as the executive producer for Network Earth, the first weekly environmental magazine series. In 2012, under her leadership, GPB Media received the Southeast Regional Emmy for Station Excellence. She also received a Womenetics 2012 POW Award for Business Innovation. Additionally, Ms. Ryan has won 7 Emmys, 4 Cable Ace Awards, and she was named one of the 10 most powerful women in media by Crane Media in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present Ms. Taya Ryan.
Wow, well, you can't, it's hard to follow a Spelman girl, huh? Well, thank you very much. I am so honored to be here tonight to such a wonderful organization. Don't hold it against me, but I'm from Los Angeles, where this organization started. So I feel deeply passionate about this, and it was begun by a group of women, a very small group of women who at that time worked in Hollywood and had a very difficult time getting into the unions unless you were a costumer. But if you wanted to be a cinematographer or you wanted to be a grip, it was darn hard, and it's getting easier. But it is still not hard, and I feel passionately, as you might imagine, as a woman executive who has spent a lifetime being helped by women and now trying to spend my time helping women come up. And it was such a, what I loved about watching tonight, and I don't know if all of you noticed it, is the photographers here are women, and I love that. That's not a minor point. That is actually the most important point of tonight. And if I can say anything to you, I want you to hear a quote that Madeleine Albright is very famous for. Madeleine Albright, if I can remind you, was the ambassador of the United States to the UN and then finally Secretary of State under President Clinton. And she said something very interesting. She said, "There is a very special place in hell for women who do not help women." With all respect to the men in the room, we do not hear what Madeleine Albright said still. In this past election, there are going to be more women in the Senate and the House than ever before. Wait, there were 7.2%. There are now 18.2%. That's not good. We're 51% of the population. And I'm asked a lot about this as a woman that does run a very large organization. And I am no easier on the women that work for me than I am the men. But I do give a hand up. And I hope that I can help one person at a time. There's a woman who is in the room with me tonight who I met on the first day when I went to Georgia Public Broadcasting, Channel 8, you know it in Atlanta here is Channel 8, and radio also at 88.5. She was there before me, and she was the assistant to the head of the organization, the president of the organization, who was there before I came on 5 years ago. Incredibly efficient, effective person. And as is wont with these kind of jobs, they want to take pictures of you and they want you to do events and so forth. And I asked her to do my makeup one time because she said she loved doing makeup. I said, okay, well, why don't you do my makeup? And she did this brilliant job. Women in the room will know what I mean by a brilliant job of makeup, eyes were bigger than they normally are. And she said, well, I went to school for this. And I said, well, what's your passion? She said, well, I love this. So I can tell you over the last 5 years that we have allowed Tiffany, who's here, Tiffany, raise your hand, to develop in this field as a makeup artist. And she has grown well beyond answering the phone calls to someone who won her 3rd Emmy this year for makeup. I was told to speak for 3 minutes, so I want you to look around and I want you to think about yourself. When was the last time you did a hand up? And you weren't scared. You weren't scared that woman was going to not take your job. That's the worst thing we do as women. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to give a hand up because they might take my job. They might be better than me. Oh, darn it, I want to work for people much smarter than me. Much smarter, much more talented. So, please remember, there is a place in hell. And I was just saying earlier, this feels like a rap party, which is the best feeling in the world. Thank you so much.
Very excited to introduce our next speaker. As an actor, I love casting directors. And I tell you, it's really, there have been so many projects that we've gotten a chance to work on here locally because of our next speaker. Lisa Mae Fincannon is an award-winning casting agent with dozens of projects under her belt. Most often recognized for her work on Homeland, The Walking Dead, Looper, One Tree Hill, and The Conjuring. And also Resurrection. We have a couple of cast members on Resurrection as well. To date, she has cast projects and worked in 13 countries. While in school at the Grady School of Journalism and the Franklin School of Theater Film Studies at University of Georgia, her love of music, painting, and travel grew. Self-admittedly, she's most comfortable living out of a suitcase and often considers being a casting director the best job around. Her early work in documentary films proved an ability to discover and bring performances out of non-actors, which has been one of the trademarks of her career. Occasionally, Lisa Mae returns to her first love of documentaries, her latest effort being Grits, Tits, and Burning Rubber, a pick about the Southern drive-in movie moguls of the 1970s. She lives and works with her husband Craig and her dogs Theta and Earl. Family is very important. Living nearby are daughters Ashley and Erin, her mom, dad, both brothers, and their families who all actively mix in each other's lives, most of whom are here tonight. So let us all welcome Lisa Mae Fincannon.
Getting up those steps and those hills, so we're good to go. Thank you guys. Good evening. I want to congratulate my co-honoree. Thank you, Lisa. And the membership of WIFTA, and happy anniversary. Thank you. I'm talking about this, by the way. Like, I feel like you're the valedictorian, and I'm like second runner-up. Being a woman in film is, for my money, the greatest calling one could ever wish to have. And I send my calls out of Catherine Bigelow, who said, you know, I choose to ignore any resistance to women making movies for 2 reasons. A, can't change my gender. B, I refuse to ever stop making movies. Movies in Moxie are definitely in my blood. There are 3 folks here tonight that have been major players in my journey. My dad and mom. Who instilled in me and with more grace than any man. It also didn't hurt that they were major movie buffs. My mentor, husband, and partner, Craig Fincannon, who, as founder of Fincannon Associates, has hired 27 women of the 32 casting directors and associates in our 35-year history. Not so many women, you might ask. Well, work ethic, attention to detail, charm and toughness, endless ability to multitask. That's just to name a few reasons. Each of these individuals helped to shape and support my filmmaking efforts, which in turn supported countless women in the film and television industry, especially here in the South, which is my home. I always say, American by birth, Southerner by grace of God, woman because I got luck of the draw. Moving forward, Fincannon Associates employs 3 full-time CSA casting directors. That's Du Bois, Margaret Craig, and myself. 2 full-time CSA associates here in Atlanta, Dana Salerno and Kimberly Listet, and our casting assistant, Mary Petty. You'll notice a lot of those names are women's names. We continue to grow and will honor and employ many female casting associates and assistants, not only in Georgia, but throughout the Southeast. We are female affirming within the film industry. We always fight for the rights of actresses by pushing for equality in casting and gender swapping in roles whenever allowable. One of our greatest rushes is when somebody asks for a 50-something Caucasian male lawyer and we give them a smoking hot 27-year-old African-American female. I was told by Jackie Birch, a wonderful casting director who's here tonight, please do something that's, bawdy. I can always be dependent on that to do it. It happened to be that I wanted to use a quote by Maya Angelou that I love just because I wish I'd ever seen it come out of her mouth when I read it. She said, I'd love to see a young woman go out and grab the world by its lapels because life is a bitch and you got to go out there and kick some ass. And that's what Fincannon Associates intends to do. To Georgia and beyond. Thank you guys very much.
Linda Brunson Young. As I mentioned, I'm a newcomer to the Georgia area, and I remember when I had only lived here about maybe 2 or 3 months, and I went to my very first acting workshop in Atlanta, and I remember just noticing this really lovely woman across the room, and I just remember thinking, oh, she's just so pretty and just has a really positive energy. And I remember I looked over at her, and she just gave me the warmest smile I had ever seen. And it really reminded me of that saying, always wear your invisible crown. And it was really no surprise to me when I learned that she is actually former Miss Georgia. And I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to welcome her this evening. Linda Brunson Young won the Miss Savannah pageant and then won the Miss Georgia title in 1961. After her reign as Miss Georgia, she moved to Atlanta to attend Georgia State University and also started her career as a model actress with Atlanta Models and Talent in the early 60s with Beverly Keedman-Copen, the founder of WIFTA. She took a leave from the acting field after having children to pursue a career in real estate with her husband. They worked as a team developing subdivisions in the metro area and in Henry, Newton, Barrow, Clark, and Gwinnett. She is a proud grandmother of 3 children under 6 and loves being an active Mimi, as they call her. She is an active member at Peachtree Road Methodist Church, Georgia Production Partnership, and serves on the Public Relations Committee of Women in Film and Television Atlanta. She has been associated with the Miss America organization since 1961, is an active accredited judge, and is now back with Atlanta Models and Talent, doing television, film, industrials, and still print photography work. It is my pleasure to welcome Miss Georgia, 1961, Miss Linda Brunson.
my Miss Georgia son. Oh, it is my honor tonight to recognize my dear friend, Beverly, as the first president of WIFTA. Our friendship goes back, as she said, in the 1960s. Beverly was only 23 years old when she started Atlanta Models and Talent. She was not only my friend, but my agent and my manager. And I'm so happy to be back with Atlanta Models and Talent. As you well know, it is still a thriving business after over 50 years. Our friendship with Beverly, we have always stayed in touch with one another. But in 2004, Beverly, myself, and 4 other actresses with Atlanta Models and Talent at the time started having yearly reunions. And we now call ourselves the Yaya Sisters because we're like a sisterhood. Even though we were in competition with one another in the 60s, we were always rooting for each other and building each other up. And that friendship has lasted all these years. We now have our next reunion coming up, Las Vegas. On January 2015, the Yayas hit Vegas. We have a house rented, and we're looking forward to it. And Kathy, why don't you join us? In 1972, Beverly was approached by the state of Georgia to create and promote the film industry in the state of Georgia. And she was their representative and consultant for over a year. Within 3 years, the business grew to $30 million. As you know now, the business is at $3 billion. In 1973, when she was still owner of AMT, she went to LA and Los Angeles often to promote AMT, but to promote Georgia. And this is when she met Tiki. And she brought the second chapter of Women in Film to the state of Georgia. And WIFTA was born here in Atlanta by our friend Beverly. Through the past 40 years, her vision has made a difference to everyone here in Atlanta, and women in film, and television and media, and other avenues. She now resides in Sedona, Arizona, and she's just now published her 4th book, and she's a professional photographer also, and has received many honors through her photography skills. But most of all, Beverly has always wanted to make a difference. And now, since we have grown so much, she is calling on us to make a difference. Through her generous donation, she is giving $1,000. And she is creating an award to be given to a recipient that makes a difference in the film community here in Atlanta. So look forward. So look forward in the coming year to the details about this wonderful award given by Beverly, Making a Difference. Thank you.
Next, we have our PSA. Now, our PSA, Women in Film every year partners with a nonprofit organization where we
do a public service announcement for that organization. We utilize members to give our members, that's what we do as Women in Film. We give everyone opportunities to work. And so this is another opportunity that we get to work with another nonprofit in addition to, raising awareness about that nonprofit and giving our membership opportunities to work. So just thank a couple of our in-kind sponsors. We've got AFR Furniture Rentals, Fake Wood Wallpaper, Powered Pixels, Wingers Media, Recentered Pieces. They did the beautiful little table decorations. PH Events, who did the presentation bouquets. Fake Wood Wallpaper did the lights, and AFR Furniture Rentals did the red carpet. We have Shades of Glory Cake Designs and Catering and Community Grounds, because right after this we have a dessert and coffee function. Okay, so make sure of that. A couple of things for the gift bags. We had Ally Integrated Marketing, Mary Kay Cosmetics, Organic Gold Coffee, Jacqueline Collections, Fabulous Chicks, Dior Cosmetics. We also have Miss Kimberly Banta. Kim, are you around here? Wave. There we go. Kim made some lovely ornaments for our other gift bags as well. Atlanta Movie Tours and Kendra Stott Jewelry. And right now we have our PSA.
Someone else's pride. Life begins. All I knew was fear. I still can't tell you how I found the courage to escape. But though spring found me, when I was little, I would stare out the window at the birds and dream I could fly with them. And I finally did.
Next up, I would love to present two women who most of you know in this room. They've done so much work for the Atlanta film and television community in education as well, bringing up the next generation of our film and TV workers. They're also two past presidents, and so we had them first. Please welcome Deidre McDonald and Fran Burst-Taranelli.
Really good to see it from this point of view. But who's counting, right? You know, when you really think back 40 years, to me this is just absolutely amazing, and I am so proud of WIFTA for being able to stand the test of time. So please, let's give them another round. I am so glad you mentioned that this chapter is the second oldest chapter in the country. And you can imagine 40 years ago, women were not necessarily thinking of these kind of careers. So we kind of gravitated to one another. And as a consequence, in a way, we've become lifelong friends in many instances. Friends, as well as we've worked on projects together. So it's been something that has gone on and on. And I think that that's a wonderful testament to us coming together. Beverly Anderson Kievman Copeman was the first in a line of influential visionary women who have had a hand in leading women in film Atlanta over the years. But there have been many, many other presidents since that time. So would the presidents, past presidents, please stand to be recognized? And we know that Women in Film is a very labor-intensive organization when it comes to people being active on the board. And so would the former board members please stand? When I think back on some of the memories that I had with women in film, not only is it the friendships that I gained, but also the opportunity to go to the International Summit in Jamaica and to see that we were connected internationally. And so I thought that that was really very, very awesome. Let me read briefly from one person who was on the board and later became president of Women in Film, Betty Jo Taylor. She was the fifth. She counts. She is in Dallas, Texas, and she really wishes she could be with us, but she has a very good remembrance of an event that was absolutely fabulous. And I think it was our first biggie, so this is definitely worth talking about. Betty Jo Taylor writes about the fact that she was a filmmaker with Coca-Cola USA. And I used to really admire her because she was shooting all around the world. And it was just amazing what she was doing. She was really somebody to look up to. And so she recalls an event that we had, and it was the first huge event that Women in Film had. And it was at the High Museum, the large concert hall. It was the first public event. And we invited 3 extraordinary women who were thrilled, and we were thrilled that they actually came. They included Barbara Copel, who had just become a legend with her brilliant documentary, Harlan County, USA, which was about labor troubles. And she had won an Oscar for that particular documentary. Slapshot screenwriter Nancy Dowd came, and also Sarah Stein, who won 2 Academy Awards in 1 year for her editing. And so it was like a field of dreams. You know, we had these people come, and then so many people came to support that program. So it was just a phenomenal, very memorable experience. Now, Frank.
Hi. I'll come back to some more fun stuff in a minute, but first I wanted to say something about a very remarkable young woman and ask that we all take a moment to think of her with great respect and thanks, and that's Sarah Jones. When I came to Atlanta in 1973, it was right at the holidays, so it was early 74 when I started kind of going around my way to figure out what on earth I was going to do as a young filmmaking woman. And so I was the new camera girl, the new script girl, the new boom girl, and that girl. When I saw Sarah's picture, I thought, my gosh, just what she accomplished in her few short years and what she now accomplishes for all of us and the huge worldwide movement to make safety first. It's an incredible legacy, and I'm so sorry that she had to give her life for it. But I think it will benefit us all really forever. As you all know, it's just every second. Everybody thinks about Sarah and thanks her for making us aware. So I also want to give tribute to another woman who we lost last year, my longtime friend, our longtime friend in Women in Film, one of our very early members, Hoodie Troutman. Hoodie, if you knew Hoodie, she was one of the wildest, craziest, funniest people ever. She did not take prisoners. She just told you whatever she wanted. And in 1984, she was invited to LA to run the audiovisual department to manage the whole thing for the LA organizing committee for the Olympics. And she, not too long afterward, just a few years, she was diagnosed with cancer. Amazing woman, 22 years with cancer, never gave up, kept working till almost the very end. And so I just wanted to say something, one of our great early members, Hoodie, she decided never to be president because she thought she could cause a lot more trouble if she kind of worked on all the other things. I also wanted to read a short message from one of our other former presidents, my good friend and really the main person who helped us get our tax incentive, Shea Bentley Griffin. And here's her message.
Congratulations to WIFTA on the 40th anniversary. I extend my sincere best wishes and gratitude to each and every Georgia woman that over the years contributed to this important accomplishment. Ladies, let's continue to build this great Georgia film industry. I look forward to working with you as we move forward in 2015, and special greetings to Taya and to Lisa. And last but not least, I want to talk about Bonnie Arnold. If you happen to see Dances with Wolves, Toy Story, Over the Hedge, How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, or 3, you've seen the work of Bonnie Arnold. She's a multiple times been nominated for Oscars. She's a producer, she's an LA producer, and she started right here at Women in Film Atlanta. And so look for Bonnie's name. She was associate producer on Dances with Wolves, and I remember watching the film, and at the very end, she wasn't in the opening credits, but she got her almost screamed. It comes up, it goes black, it's into the film, which was a really long film. And it comes up and it goes, Bonnie Arnold. I'm in Texas. I'm in Texas with my family for Thanksgiving, and I go, Bonnie Arnold, okay, but she's just wonderful. She's still a friend to all of us whenever we visit LA. She's just a very remarkable leader in the Producers Guild of America and many other organizations. So that's a little bit of women in film history. I'm also going to take a moment and give a shout out to Kathy Hardigree, because in 1985, she called me up. Now, I had a new baby. She had babies much younger than I did, but I was took me a minute to get to that. So Kathy says, Fran, we want you to represent women in film at the first national conference. I said, I have a new baby. She said, oh, you can take him. He was 4 months old. So, me and Joe Terranella, we got in the plane and we flew to Washington, D.C., and he was the only man who attended the conference. And he turns 30 next Tuesday. I do like that. One last thing, and I think this is a time to really empower ourselves as we move into our next 40 years. So I did a little bit of research. I'm a director, and so I looked up a couple of statistics on directors. 10% of indie films and 4.7% of studio films were directed by women from 2009 to 2013. That's not very many. It took 82 years for a woman to win the Oscar for Best Director. God bless Catherine Bigelow. Our challenge is to step out and step up and say, I can do it. I think Taya was very wise in her statement. We reach up and invite other people to join us and encourage them along the way. But at every point, we just have to say, I can do this. And Jenna Davis has founded a remarkable group called the Institute on Gender in Media. And the goal of the organization is to create gender balance. And they have a great motto. If she can see it, she can be it. They're targeting a lot of their work to images of women in front of on film, in television, particularly for children. But I know that they are also very supportive of women behind the camera, women in the boardroom, women in every point of life. When we see strong, interesting, cool women and girls, whether they're on the screen or they're doing the work, I think it really reminds us, it just makes us, empowers everyone. Men assume women can do it because we're there. We assume we can do it because there's other women there. So thank you for your time, and let's just go do it.
So we've talked about the past, let's talk about the present and have the current president of Women in Film, Cheryl Jenkins. Please welcome.
Thank you for coming out and celebrating Women in Film's history here in Atlanta. My name is Cheryl Jenkins, and I am the current president of WIFTA. I want to give you a little anecdote story about myself. I worked in Los Angeles as a freelancer for several years before moving to Atlanta. As a freelancer, as you probably probably know, I moved from show to show. I was excited to finish one project and move on to another. It meant meeting new people. It meant the possibility of traveling to different cities and sometimes even different countries. It was an exciting time for me, but maybe a little misguided. A couple of years into this, I heard about this organization called Women in Film. I looked them up, and it was really a little intimidating. It was all these accomplished women who were producing and directing and creating their own projects. You had to have credentials and credits and letters of recommendation. I was so discouraged. I was like, there's no way I can be a part of that organization. But if I had pursued it and maybe joined the organization, I wondered where my career would be right now. If I had met a mentor, or just another woman, or people I could talk to about the business, where would I be? I tell people all the time that I'm from Michigan, and all I ever wanted was a job at Ford. I just wanted to work for Ford Motor Company and climb that corporate ladder. I didn't know I had vision and creativity inside of me. In Michigan, no one ever talked about the entertainment industry. And everyone who was like part of the drama club was considered pretty eccentric because they were stepping outside the box and they didn't do what they were supposed to do, maybe be an engineer or an accountant or something. Pretty conservative. At that time, I actually won awards for my writing. But I didn't know what a writing career would do for me. All I thought was I could be a journalist, and I didn't really want to do that. So when I got to LA, the very first show that I worked on was a scripted show, and I actually sat down and wrote a script. And I promise you, within 6 episodes, they came out with the exact same script. I was like, wait a minute, is this like verbatim or something? If I had someone to talk to about that, to maybe help navigate my career in that, tell me that there were opportunities for writers. I could have taken classes or, just all different types of things I could have done. Where would I be right now? So here I am in Atlanta. This city is so ripe with promise and creativity. It has such great entrepreneurial spirit. In Atlanta, I've actually been afforded the opportunity to do so many things that I probably never would have had the opportunity to do in LA. LA has this tendency to kind of keep you in the box. I've met women producers, entrepreneurs, writers, attorneys, women in all areas of the business, and they encouraged me and helped me to become an entrepreneur and to pursue every creative passion I had inside of me, many of which are from women in film. So WIFTA has been in existence for 40 years now. Things are very different than they were 40 years ago, but Fran, you took my statistics. But oddly enough, the numbers 40 years later are still not very promising for women in this industry. I just want to give you a few statistics. The Center for the Study of Women in Television and Film at San Diego State University found that out of all the directors, executive producers, writers, cinematographers, and editors working on Hollywood's top studio films last year, only 16% were women, a smaller proportion than the previous year. The study also found that out of all the directors working on the top 250 films in 2013, just 6% were women. Surprisingly, that figure was actually higher from when they surveyed 16 years previous. The data suggests that women employed behind the scenes have seen a reversal of their already slim fortunes. With that being said, now it's time to determine what the next years look like for this organization here in Atlanta. How do we become a part of the movement to get more original content out of Atlanta? How do we become part of the movement that gets more shows on the air and movies on the screen for Atlantans? How do we become a part of the movement to foster the careers of those wanting to write for television, write feature films, direct, produce, even be in front of the camera, and for the studio projects that are being produced here. Do we give up and agree with Hollywood that we don't have the talent? No, we keep participating in organizations like WIFTA and take many classes and opportunities that we are afforded. I believe that Atlanta talent is ripe for the picking now. People are moving here from Hollywood, New York, and from all over the place. There's a pool of women out there for us to tap into like no other time here in Atlanta. We as an organization and a community need to encourage women with years of credentials and those starting in the business to be a part of our story, a part of Atlanta's entertainment industry blossoming and coming into full professional fruition. If these top-notch individuals are coming here to produce and moving here and believe in Hollywood ways, then it's imperative that we tap into their insight and encourage them to be involved. Women in film is about women realizing their dreams. In Atlanta, you can get opportunities unlike many other markets. This is a unique market that requires a unique approach, and it's going to require the help of many of you out there. I encourage you to stay involved with the organization, and let's work together to make it happen for each other. Make sure you're an active member, donate financially or time to our cause, become a mentor. Look to women in film for your hiring needs. Offer your expertise. There are many ways we can use your support. Let's stay in support of each other and help each other out in as many ways as we can. When one of us wins, we all win. With that, I say thank you, and again, for supporting WIFTA, and let's look forward to the next 40 years. With that being said, I want to thank Beverly Copen and all of our past presidents. Thank you so much, because without you, we wouldn't be here right now, right? I also want to thank my current board. If you could stand, that would be great. We have Karen Cisse, BJ Arnett, Tanisha Coffey. We have a couple other people that couldn't make it. It's Barbara Desmond and Wanda Shelley. Thank you so much to our co-chairs, Tammy Tanaka-Jones, Jones Tanaka, and Karen Cisse. Thank you again for coming.
We would like to thank the Georgia Office of Film, Music, and Digital Entertainment. Modern Luxury and Jezebel Magazine, who are covering the event this evening. No Joke Productions. Crawford Communications. NZK. Magic Lantern. MedStuff Consult Group. The Christian View. And Rakushi Douglas LLC.
All right, and lastly, we just have a couple of thank yous. We wanted to thank the Wimbish House. This is run by the Atlanta Women's Club. We chose this location because of its history here in Atlanta, and what a beautiful facility. So if you ever have a function here, not only is it a gorgeous facility, but Beth has just been fabulous in all of the planning, so I definitely recommend it here. Epting Events, Ashley Epting is in the back right there, working, always working. Their staff came up with a wonderful menu based on film themes. I don't know if you noticed that they were based on film themes from 1974, 84, 94, 2014. And also, all of our volunteers. So So we have so many, everyone wave. They are also listed in the program. And we just really, we couldn't have done this without their assistance. So that brings us to the close of this portion. We have our DJ Q right here. We're going to have some dancing afterwards. A dessert and coffee reception right outside. We've got some gift bags. Enjoy yourself.
You've had some great successes. What do you feel is the biggest challenge? Because everybody's not you. What's the biggest challenges for actresses coming up in the industry today?
I think it depends on your goal, really. If your goal is, I think, to become a star or to become, the lead in something, I think it's important that you really take the time to put the work in to learn the craft of acting. And I think that that's a big challenge that a lot of times people put a lot of focus into the marketing and into getting people to know them, but they don't put the time into the art of the work.
What are some of the favorite roles, your favorite characters that you play?
Definitely Barbara Langston on Resurrection. Especially, they gave me one episode one time where it was like, oh, you're crying this scene, and now you're giggling this scene, and now you're like distraught, and now it was just really fun to go from, this to that, to this to that. So there's just been a lot of cool challenges for me as an artist in that role, and then I also really loved the role that they gave me on Las Vegas, where I got to play drunk, and it was really fun, and then I got to work with Kevin Kline. It was just amazing, just fabulous person. So most of the time I just kind of was like listening, because he just knew so much about the industry and plays and his knowledge of Hollywood and old Hollywood. I mean, I just wanted to be a fly on the wall and just keep learning,
What as far as organizations like Women in Film, what has been your experience with them, if any?
I think that they're wonderful. I mean, I love Atlanta. I love the city. I think it's wonderful and beautiful. And why does Hollywood get all the work? And I think it's organizations like Women in Film and Television that they've helped to bring more work to Atlanta, and also raised awareness to bring more roles for women into film and television. Because throughout history, there's traditionally been more roles for men, and I think it's organizations like Women in Film and Television that have brought awareness and are bringing more and more of those women roles up. And now you see lots of great movies that are coming out that have strong female leads, which is, fantastic. It makes me very happy.
final question?
Yes.
Would you please wish WIFTA a happy anniversary, happy birthday? It's our 40th year.
Okay. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, WIFTA.
So, you guys have a proud history with Women in Film and Television Atlanta. Tell me a little bit about how you've seen it change over the years, the organization change over the years, for the better.
Well, I started out like in the mid-90s, and one of my first experiences was being in special events, and we were just talking downstairs how we used to do this bowling event. And it was legendary. It was at the Express Bowling.
Is it Midtown?
Midtown, yeah, on Piedmont Road. And all the production houses would buy a lane, and people would come dressed up, and we would give out prizes. It was a fundraiser for the organization. So that was something part of history. But then I was also co-chair for the 25th anniversary gala, and that was in October of '99. And we honored Shea Bentley Griffin, and Grace Zabriskie, and Patricia Neal.
I remember when it was just women in film, right?
Yes, it was. Right.
And then we were like, oh, maybe we should have television. I was on the board in the 90s during the bowling, the bowling time. But as it grew and we started to encompass more areas, and then when the industry started to grow in Atlanta, I could tell that women were going to be a very strong presence in the industry in Atlanta. And so I feel like WIFTA grew more from that and had more representation from different parts of the industry. And it was also a great opportunity for women who had never been in the industry to come in and learn more through workshops and programs. So yeah, I thought it was a really nice way to see it grow.
Where do you see the organization needing to go in the next 40 years to really continue to uplift women in film and television in Georgia?
I haven't really thought about it, but just when you said that right now, I think one of the areas that we could really work on is growing throughout the state, because there is now, all the counties in Georgia are film ready now through the Georgia Production Partnership. And this is Atlanta and this is the capital. But there's no reason why we can't reach out beyond, to some of these other film commissions in other counties and really have more of a reach out to other women and supporting them in other counties throughout Georgia.
I also think that even though this is Women in Film and Television Atlanta, and I know there are other chapters in the South, I think reaching out to those others and kind of really making it a presence in the South is really valuable. And I also hope that they will grow the mentorship program. I did that a little when I was on the board a few years ago, but I think that women doing mentoring is such a crucial thing, and I don't see it enough. And I think Women in Film is the perfect group to really create that and grow it.
You guys have been working in the industry, before tax production incentives and now after. What, if any, is the biggest change that you see has impacted the industry, particularly women?
I think that for me, since the tax incentives have come into play, I remember sitting at an executive breakfast that Women in Film hosted and hearing two producers, this was before the tax incentives, saying, oh, we're going to Canada. Why? Let me spell it out to you on this whiteboard. This is why. But now, just even driving around today, I saw 2 different production signs for different projects. And I think that, I've seen my friends who are actors, who are directors, who are all across the spectrum being more involved in the local productions here.
Happy anniversary, WIFTA! Happy 40th! You look fabulous!
Absolutely fabulous.
I was on the board of Women in Film just a few years ago. I was the PR director, and I sat on the board for 2 years. And currently, I transitioned from the WIFTA board to the Georgia Production Partnership, where I'm currently the vice president.
What have you seen? What kind of changes have you seen over the years?
With women in film, a lot more opportunities going on right now for women, especially here in Georgia. Ever since the tax incentive was put in place, and now there's a 30% tax credit, lots of people are coming here to Georgia, and people are actually doing their own films here in Georgia. And one of the things I see with WIFTA is the opportunity for women to get out there and work with the locals here and create some wonderful artistic work. And they have a chance to take advantage of that tax incentive that's going on.
And what do you see with in the next 4 years?
I'm hoping to see a lot more women taking the helm, getting in there, being directors, being producers. I'm currently producing a documentary right now for the Homeless Pet Foundation. And I learned a lot of my producing skills through the Women in Film organization and working with other people, other go-getters. I like to call on women who like to get out there and, you know, sow their oats and say, hey, listen, we can do it just as much as the boys can. I would like to see more women producing. I would like to see more women getting out there and taking more risks. A lot of times you don't see that. And I would like to see more in film festivals. I know the Atlanta Film Festival has a category just for women directors. And it would be nice to see a lot of people from Atlanta making it into that category. I would just like to say happy 40th anniversary to the Women in Film and Television in Atlanta. You guys are awesome, and I just want to see you grow for another 40 years.
Okay, happy 40th WIFTA. 2 former board members. They were both 40. And if you believe that, oh, you're not real bright.
So what do you see for the future for WIFTA? What are your thoughts since you have been board members? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's growing and it's better. It's good. It's not as good as we were.
So you've seen a lot of changes then?
It's been great. I'm really encouraged to see what's happening with the women in film, and very proud to be a part of the organization.
Thank you, ladies.
And that's how we met. Congratulations. Yes, congratulations, WIFTA. Congratulations, and sending best wishes to my friend Evelyn.